Thursday's attack in Barcelona is part of a growing number of incidents in which vans have been used to kill civilians. In July 2016, 84 people were killed and more than 200 wounded in Nice when a 20-ton truck ploughed into crowds gathered to celebrate Bastille Day in the French Riviera town. A festive gathering was also the target of a December 2016 attack in Berlin, when a tractor-trailer rammed crowds at a popular Christmas market. Back in 2010, Al-Qaeda had called for the use of vehicles to mow down the enemies of Allah using speed for maximum carnage. It was a low-tech strategy employed in March by Khalid Massoud when he drove into pedestrians on London's Westminster Bridge. Also in Stockholm, where an extremist sympathiser barreled a stolen beer truck into shoppers on a busy street, killing 4 and injuring 15. Ironically, the trend may result from improved security within Europe, as terrorists turn in desperation to cruder but less preventable means of mass devastation. As the June attack on London's Borough Market demonstrated, however, less sophisticated does not mean less effective. Welshman Darren Osborne proved that it's not just Islamist terrorists attracted by this tactic when he drove a van into pedestrians near a London mosque.
Friday morning on Las Ramblas in Barcelona, and people, thousands of people, gradually returned to the famous promenade. It could hardly be described as a return to normality, but the presence of residents and tourists once again on the streets of this most international of cities sent its own message of solidarity and defiance.
Every day I skate up and down this street, you know, to and from work, and everyone's always happy in this city. Everyone's always got a smile on their face, you know, and yesterday that changed it, but I don't think it's changed it for very long. As you can see today, everyone's back out and about, like doing their daily lives, and I don't think it'll make too much of an impact on the people. I think everyone will come together and kind of be a community about it.
After Thursday evening saw the city centre closed down following the van attack, people were once again allowed past police lines to their homes and hotels. Our correspondent says as the investigation continues, Barcelona is experiencing an intense day packed with emotion, a very different summer's day with a lot of silence in the streets.
Paco Fuentes, Euronews, Barcelona.
Spain's King Felipe and Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy joined thousands of people at Barcelona's main square for a minute's silence at 12 noon. Their thoughts with the dozens of people caught up in twin terror attacks that have plunged Catalonia and the world into mourning. Victims came from more than 30 countries, from France to Pakistan, from Argentina to Australia. "I'm not afraid," people shouted in Catalan. Children are among those reported dead or missing. In this, the latest in a string of deadly vehicle attacks on civilians across Europe. Killers using an easily obtained weapon against the easiest of targets.
Officials from the US and Japan have met in Washington to discuss the threat from North Korea. Japanese Defense Minister Itsunori Onodera and Foreign Minister Taro Kono, along with US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and Defense Secretary James Mattis, agreed to work more closely together as fears grow over North Korea's nuclear capabilities.
We agreed to bolster our alliance capabilities to deter and respond to North Korea's unacceptable behavior and other challenges to regional security.
Tillerson said the US is keen to initiate a meaningful dialogue with Pyongyang, but made clear his belief that diplomacy must be backed up with military options. With regards to the denuclearization of North Korea, we agreed we would ramp up effective pressure. We will call on China to take specific measures to make North Korea change its behavior. On the threat of ballistic missiles, as an alliance we will strengthen our defense and capabilities to respond. Tensions in East Asia remain high following months of missile testing in North Korea. The secretive regime threatened to strike the US Pacific territory of Guam last week, but leader Kim Jong-un appears to have decided to hold off on his plans for the time being.
Britain is reportedly planning to allow visa-free travel to the country for people from the European Union after Brexit. There's been no official announcement, but government sources are said to have confirmed that visitors won't face any new constraints. However, people who want to work, study or settle in the UK will need to comply with future migration rules. A key government priority is to reduce immigration, but ministers have long said they want companies to be allowed to hire skilled European workers. Visa-free travel does not amount to free movement under EU rules, which imply the right to work in another state. Separately, the UK government says it's confident that Brexit negotiations with Brussels are on course to move on to the next phase after October. It follows reports suggesting the two sides might have to delay talks on future UK-EU ties due to a lack of progress on priority issues.
Three prominent young Hong Kong democracy leaders have been jailed for unlawful assembly linked to the city's month-long pro-democracy protests in 2014. 20-year-old Joshua Wong, former student leader 26-year-old Alex Chow and 24-year-old Nathan Law, the youngest ever democratically elected lawmaker in Hong Kong, were jailed for 6, 7 and 8 months respectively.
What we believe is people united will never be defeated. Our courage and determination to fight for free election and democracy will continue in this long-term battle.
Outside the High Court, a pro-establishment rally also formed, calling for their imprisonment. The former British colony, which last month celebrated the 20th anniversary of its return to Chinese rule, was gridlocked by nearly 3 months of street protests in 2014. The Umbrella Movement failed to convince Beijing to allow full democracy in the city of over 7 million people. The yellow umbrellas became a symbol of revolution after protesters used them the previous year to fend off police pepper spray attacks.
It's A-level results time in Britain, a nerve-wracking moment for young people desperate for the right grades to get to the university of their choice, and one student won her heart's desire: politics, philosophy and economics at Oxford. Of course, Malala Yousafzai is not exactly your average student. The world's youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner and education activist is now 20. But just 4 years ago, she was being air ambulanced out of Pakistan after being attacked for defending the rights of girls to an education. Over the following years, her very public defiance of religious fundamentalists and traditionalists who would deny her and others like her the chance to read and write has been recognized around the world, winning the European Union's Sakharov Prize as well.
E dal momento para outro espaço comercial, agora no Stabek e Deporte CBA.